Hey, everyone. Welcome to the weekly wrap up. We have Josh in Melbourne.
I am. I flew over yesterday, and so far so good. The jet lag seemingly hasn't hit that I know, so I'm hoping it stays that way. And it's a little bit warmer than the UK, only a smidge, but
A little bit
a
like
little
double the temperature.
possibly. But yes, we are here. Hello to YouTube, X, and the world watching on, and of course our lovely members in GSIC who have had such an incredible week. Like
They've had such an
going on.
incredible month, really. Like this is going into the
True.
next month, and let's hope it continues.
Like, honestly, the stats. If anyone is on X and following along, Lisa exited. How do you say it? Exit, tweeted, posted. Just posted the weekly stats, and in themselves they are incredible. So those who have been with us, GSIC members, will have got it. And if you are part of that, getting started in crypto.com, we will see you there. Already comment coming in. How was Kieran, Josh? And Kieran is the storm, I believe they're referring to, which was pretty mad. Oh, there's a dog sneezing behind me now. Pretty mad. One or two dustbins did get blown over. So for England, that's a huge storm.
Massive storm.
Yeah. Anyway, moving on. Lise, any news?
Anyway, so hang on. I need to pull a face because every week, every time I pull a face, X puts it as a screenshot. So I was like, there you go. That's their screenshot. And it's guaranteed out of all the things that they could pick, that's going to be it. So I just thought I'd do it for them.
Most likely.
Yeah. Okay. So let's jump in. So coming up on the 11th and 12th, 10th and 11th, can't remember.
You move on. I'll look up the dates for you.
Yeah, so we've got the Oz CryptoCon, and it's in Melbourne, and which is pretty exciting. And I've got 25 free general admission passes to give away. When you go and you check out, what you need to do is put Lisa and Edwards free. That will give you a free ticket. If you want to go to the after party, these are always epic. That's just $79. So you're saving yourself a massive $200. And you get to get to listen to all the speakers. You get to see all the new stuff that's happening in Australia. There's so many, IMX are there, Algorand are there. So it's going to be huge. And and if you don't get one of these free tickets, they've got buy one, get one free tickets at the moment. And it's actually really, really cool. So and it's at the Melbourne Convention and Exhibition Centre here in Melbourne, which is just down the road from where I live. So I will be there on Sunday speaking. And so I'm going to be talking about the Bitcoin 4-year cycle, breaking that down for everyone, how it works with quantitative tightening and easing and tapering, and how that's built into the cycle. So we can sort of gauge when we're going to be moving up, moving down, and sideways, essentially. So I will explain that, how black swans work in crypto and Bitcoin and in the global markets. So, so 25 minutes on Sunday from 1 p.m.
Correct. And that is, for anyone listening, the 11th and 12th, Sunday the 12th, obviously, Saturday, obviously, the 11th.
Yeah, and Saturday night's the party.
Yeah, so this weekend. So I will be there in attendance alongside Lisa. So if anyone's there, you will finally see the front of me. Not that I'm that anonymous online anymore, but hey, there we go. So do come along. It will be epic, and it would be great to see some people in real life.
It is. I'm so excited to meet all the Melbourne, and I know there's a few Sydney people coming down as well. So it's going to be really cool to actually be doing a conference here in Australia. So I know I go all around the world for them, but this is kind of special because it's in Australia.
Absolutely. Okay, very shortly we're going to take a look at Bitcoin, aren't we? But did you have anything else you wanted to?
I'm going to have a look at something like there's some stats. Like Josh on the flight home yesterday was talking to a lady, and I have seen these stats before, and it's basically the number of women over 55 in first world countries. Their homeless rate is increasing by 31% from 2011. So that's huge when we think about that. So what does that mean? That basically means that they're losing their jobs, or they're coming out of marriages and they don't have any financial ability to support themselves. So this is why crypto is such an important thing, just to teach, not just women, people in general, financial literacy, and basically the benefits of having that little backup, that amount of money that, should something go completely wrong, you're not out on the street, you're not homeless, and you're not, hungry and looking for food. So, that's an important thing. Sort of domestic abuse is huge in that age range, and that's a major cause as well. So it's so important right now for, cryptocurrency and that sort of thing, because it is something that for a woman, or, even a man, to have that financial ability to, if they are like, out of a relationship, out of a job, they're not out on the street. So it's such a crazy statistic. And when I looked at that today, it's just, how does somebody get to that point? And, you've never had your own money or never had that backup plan. That's exactly how you get to that point.
Absolutely. And the conversation, I was speaking to a lady on the plane about it on the way back, and GSIC as a group, it's all well and good being a great group with great signals, but we've always talked about what good can the group do for people and in their lives, aside from, just being good at signals and making people money. And this is where it really came into our own. And like you say, it's across the range of men and women, but traditionally it's had a tradition in the past where the man is the breadwinner, has the sole bank account, and the woman relies on that. And that is, we feel, at least, is closely tied to that statistic of shit hits the fan in the relationship, something happens, you split up, and then the women typically are left on their feet. Also the men. But regardless of whatever way around it is, it can catch people out very quickly and hit them very hard. So we really are trying to push that focus of helping people be, like you say, financially literate themselves, self-reliant, and able to, even if they're in the group as a side hustle, it doesn't have to be the main income, or this is the be all and end all. So yeah, it's a fascinating statistic, and Lisa and I are doing a lot more thinking and pushing that message out. So watch this space. We're going to do a lot more with that.
Yeah, definitely. So not many people really know about this, because it's not something that I talk about, but I did come from, as a child, situations where, like, I grew up within a domestic abuse environment. So, and something that my mum always told me was, particularly because she was in that environment and with 3 small children at that time, it was so important for her to have her own money to be able to financially support us and to leave that situation. So you never know what you're going to get into. You never know, you marry somebody and they turn into a monster, or, just bad circumstances, something happens. And it's essential to have your own money, to have a backup plan. And I really think that's where, having crypto, having a small trading bag is essential.
And yeah, like you say, life changes. So if anyone's got any thoughts or comments, or maybe situations they've been in themselves, or reflecting on what we've just said, we'd love to hear from you. You don't have to do it here right now. You can do it straight to our inbox, contact@gettingstartedincrypto.com, and it will be, you can do it anonymously if you like as well. So good thoughts and good ideas.
Yeah, so let's jump away from that and jump straight into Bitcoin. So see where we're going. So we've been sideways. We did get a little bit of a boost. So what is happening within this cycle? So basically, let's move this line up. So this is 33,393. So this is our pivot. So essentially a pivot is where the pattern changes. So if this is wave one of this fifth wave in this pattern, then 33,393 will hold. So it is also around the 100 MA. So that region, if we're looking at that and then we start to break upwards, then potentially we're going into this fifth wave of this third impulse wave. If we are still corrective, the next pivot down is at this next star, which is also the 200 MA. This is a 4-hour chart at 30,662. So for this to remain bullish, we must hold 30,662. So there are two pivots. Because we have been so bullish, likely we'll hold the higher one. Like we did we saw Telcoin last week, and everyone was getting me to do that. And this was the region we were at Telcoin. And, I did give you some pullback zones. It didn't pull back. It just went, no, I'm completely bullish and I'm just going to keep going. So right now we've gone right up. And we've hit the top fib. So the next fib up, if this does continue, is 2.168, which is right up at 00289. So it's quite high up there. It does look very, very oversold. So at this period where we were in this region where I said we were coming back down to probably the 0.5, which didn't happen, we were just crossing over on the MA. CD. So the MACD has just crossed down again. So who knows how deeply these alts are going to correct, because the market is essentially extremely bullish. We've got the end of the quantitative tightening happening. We've got a period of tapering, which means that basically there's no tightening and we're preparing for the easing. So and that sort of floods the market with a little bit more money. Interest rates don't rise, and essentially people are going, okay, I'm getting some confidence back in this market. I'm going to start buying. So we're seeing stocks bouncing. We're seeing crypto bouncing. And, that stops the housing market collapsing completely. So we are seeing stress on American banks. So that is going to mean that we can't have that tightening too much, because that is really stressing the banks. They're not getting the money in. And essentially, we don't want those banks to fail completely. We are going to see some fail. We are likely to see a major bank or something like that sort of fail within, the next sort of period. So if I bring up the quantitative chart, let me find that. So we can see that we're still in this tapering and easing sort of period. So we go into, so the 4-year cycle works with quantitative tightening, quantitative tapering, and quantitative easing. So we're in a tapering period, which just means, like I said, those interest rates are halted. So that allows this market to essentially rally. Then we're going to go back in and have the last little bit of tightening. That will come into sort of March to April next year. And that is the point where we're going to see another sort of black swan event. where we're going to see, a bank fail or something similar to that. So we saw FTX and then the after effects and ripple effects go through the market here. When we came into COVID, we saw a lot of those sort of ripple effects and banks sort of, really struggling in the US. So that's essentially what happens each and every cycle within Bitcoin. It's built in. And we have a certain time frame. That's why we can sort of gauge this is the 4-year cycle. This is when halving, depending on how you want to say it, is going to happen. And this is the climb. This is essentially, we are here in this first wave period, which is here on this chart. So potentially, I do believe we're going to go up to about 50K. So if we go up to the next chart, we can see we are here. When we put the pitchfork on the 2018 sort of pullback, we can see we have the rise for that wave 1, which goes to the median line on that pitchfork. So each and every cycle, that's the same. So if we put the pitchfork on each and every cycle, we get that median line on the pitchfork. So median line on the pitchfork is 50K. So that's essentially what we're looking for in this cycle before we do get that greater pullback. And we can see that we did come back and touch that region down the bottom. So when we take that off and we come back down to around this point, so it's around 20K. So potentially from 50, we can massively pull back to that 20K mark with liquidity getting pulled from that market. So that is something to be aware of. That is a potential pattern that can happen. And it doesn't mean it will. It may hold higher. There may be, other factors that are playing into account where we have, wars happening and there may be a greater demand for cryptocurrencies at that point. So, one step at a time, but 50K is looking really potential at the moment, just due to that pitchfork and market cycle. So, we'll see what happens.
Interesting comment here as well, coming in from Team Cole Douglas, Clown Douglas McGregor doesn't think we'll even get to the 2024 election. I think we'll wake up one day and the banks will be closed for 2 to 3 weeks and no one will be able to get into them. So,
yeah, and we saw that in Greece. So, that sort of kicked off cryptocurrencies in that region and alternate ways of, making money and paying for stuff. There was just like huge queues and that sort of thing. So when we're looking at that and, the money drying up from these banks because people don't have money, they're trying to pay, they're not taking mortgages at the moment because trying to curb hyperinflation from starting at the moment because we did have such a big bubble in not just in the cryptocurrency markets, in a lot of the markets. That tightening has been extreme. And, and we're seeing in the UK that the prices are just ridiculous. Like I was there recently with Josh, and it is just it's double the price of anything in Australia. So luckily we haven't been really hit with that. I do know a lot of people in Australia are, feeling that pinch, but you go overseas and you experience some of these prices, especially USA, the homeless population there is just extreme at the moment. So something really does need to be done.
Okay. Anything else you want to share with the world before we go into secret mode with the GSIC group and answer questions?
No, I think I've had my rant for the day on the economy. So I've been writing what I'm saying at the Australian Crypto Conference. So it is very fresh. It is something that, obviously being in cryptocurrency and being providing a signal service and that sort of thing and education for people, we are very passionate about where crypto goes, what happens with it, and essentially adoption. So over the next period, we're going to really see cryptocurrency adoption picking up. We're coming to the end of money works in a 40-year cycle. So we're coming to the last 10 years of that cycle, which is where I think, we're going to really start to see adoption of cryptocurrencies. So we're only early, so it's exciting.
It is. And as you were speaking, one of our signals in GSIC has just gone over target 24%.
Nice.
So that is excellent. Okay. Well, in that case, shall we say goodbye to YouTube? And
we
X?
shall. So while I remember as well, so like I've posted on Twitter, if you do want to, if you're not sure of the signals that we do post, you can always watch them on CryptoGetting just to see, sort of when we do the daily Bitcoin updates, signals that are coming through, new signals posted. You won't know what they are because it doesn't tell you, but it does tell you the basic information, like how much percentages we're making and when signals are posted. And then we are 24 hours in there, so it doesn't matter where you are in the world.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, nice. We are going to say goodbye to YouTube GSIC members. Stick around.